Kevin Sinclair here with Irish Illustrated at irishillustrated.com, and we're watching some interesting things from a demographic standpoint in Notre Dame's 2023 class, pulling top 100 recruits out of Texas, a five-star defensive end out of Florida, and it's been interesting to watch the offensive line recruiting. Notre Dame duking it out with Clemson for three four-star offensive linemen from the Carolinas. So two from North Carolina and another from down in South Carolina. Notre Dame winning one of those battles recently and working to secure two more over Clemson, all from in that same area around Clemson. So let's have a look at that, the demographics within it, and what these prospects offer. So big battles with Clemson down in North Carolina and South Carolina for some offensive linemen. Clemson up in the northern part of South Carolina. And last cycle, just a side note, Jalen Sneed being one of the only prospects out of South Carolina to choose the Irish over the last decade. But we'll start with Sam Pendleton. Of course, he's the offensive lineman who's chosen Notre Dame, also had an offer from Clemson, as you can see here, plays tackle on the high school level, but recruited to play guard. And you can kind of see why that is. Certainly suits his style as sort of a road grader inside there with sheer force. So he's from up around the Winston-Salem area. Next up, Sullivan Absher, 6'7", near 300 pounds. First off, very, very raw, plays within an offense that's quite similar to Navy. If you watch a lot of Navy football against Notre Dame, you know what that means. But he is so large and powerful and really a bright kid that everyone around him really just raves about, his coaches and people who know him well. And he's down in the Charlotte area. Clemson and Notre Dame, big players for him. Notre Dame hosting him recently. And then Monroe Freeling out of South Carolina. This is probably my favorite offensive lineman on the board, 6'7", 285 pounds. A bona fide top 100 recruit and left tackle. As you can see, his drive blocking is outstanding, but also shows great feet. But what I really like about him is his ability to close on blocks in space, and then he is a finisher. This is a guy who finishes blocks. So down there in southern South Carolina, going to be interesting to watch Notre Dame battle Clemson for these remaining two. So with Harry Hiestand back in the mix, adding guards feels a little bit more important this cycle than tackles, in that Notre Dame's pretty well situated at the tackle position compared to the interior, but they need help across the board. And it's part of why the Sam Pendleton win was notable, bolstering that interior O-line. But moving ahead, Absher, Freeling, those are two towering 6'7" tackles. Going to be interesting to see Notre Dame battle Clemson for those prospects. And then, beyond them, as I reported yesterday, Elijah Page out of Phoenix, set to visit Notre Dame in early June. Charles Jagasa, a prospect Notre Dame seems to have within his grasp. So stay tuned to Irish Illustrated as we continue rolling out coverage on all these big fellas along the O-line. That's it for me. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Kevin Sinclair.